dream I know, deep are my feelings for you. Watch them grow, perceive, devote. This is the seed, light the show. Watch them grow.
Well, I got a really late start today. My original plan was to get up like really early and head out. I had a surprise job interview this morning. Called by a guy and asked if I wanted to come back for a second interview at this place, so he did. And looks like I'm going to be changing jobs again. Yeah, I just got a different job, and it kind of sucks. I was still kind of looking, and I had an interview at this place a while back, and they decided not to go with me, but the guy they went with didn't work out, so they're giving me the opportunity. So that was an interesting way to start my day, but now I'm kind of behind schedule here. The plan today is to go through the Apache Trail and go to Roosevelt Lake and then hook up with Route 288 that goes up to Young, and then go camping in Young. I'm testing out all my new luggage gear, and so far I'm extremely happy with all of it. It's pretty exciting to get to go test this. So this is Arizona Route 88, also known as the Apache Trail. It goes from Apache Junction all the way up to Roosevelt Lake. It used to be a stagecoach trail that went through the Superstition mountain range, and before that it was used by the Native Americans to pass through the area. So then naturally, after white people showed up and took over everything, we kind of turned it into a tourist destination. So this here is Roosevelt Dam. I'd stop and take some pictures of it, but I don't have time for that. It dams off the water from Roosevelt Lake and creates this little river that comes through the mountain range here and goes kind of along the Apache Trail. Trying to make the best time possible. .288. So I forgot the name of this mountain range, but Route 288 kind of curves up through it, slowly gains elevation until you reach Young, Arizona, which is at about, it's between 5,000 and 6,000 feet. I came down through here the opposite direction one time, and it was pretty beautiful. And I gotta admit, I miss forests, because like living in Phoenix, you're just not around any trees and stuff, and kind of get tired of it. I miss those things. They provide way more shade than you think they do. So I spend a lot of time on Google Maps, satellite mode, scouting campsites. It's kind of how I do it. Like, I don't go on websites and look up like the places to go. I like to just figure it out on my own. So I figured out like what to look for on Google Maps. Like, once I picked this road, I then just kind of combed through this road, and I was spotting little turnoffs like that. If you look really closely, sometimes you can see fire rings, or obviously you'll see campers parked there, and those are dispersed campsites. And so I marked like 5 of them on my phone, so I should be able to look at how close I am to any of my marked sites, and that'll allow me to find them. There's a couple that look really cool. There's this one site that appears to come out on a cliff and like overlook the lake, and it looks outstanding, but I really want to be in the woods. So we'll go check it out, but I don't know if I'm going to stay there. I think this is the overlook that I mentioned. Not even sure if there's going to be space for me to camp here anyway. Well, looks like this is not going to work, but that's fine. I wanted to be in the woods anyway. It's 4 o'clock. The sun's going to be going down around 6. I think I made it just in time to find something in the daylight. Ooh, just got really cold. I think the spark plug is actually going out. Bad time for the bike to be malfunctioning, but when I stop, it doesn't idle. Sometimes it just dies. And I think it's a spark plug issue, because I was having similar issues getting it to start. Like, since I bought it, it's been that way. It needs throttle to get started. And the guy I bought it from said it's always been that way, but I think the spark plug's worn out. So I don't know. I think I just found my spot. It's far enough off the road that no one should disturb me. I'm not gonna continue looking because I'm just worried someone's gonna snag it. So this thing actually is having problems. Like, watch, I let off the throttle and it'll idle, but the idle slowly goes. Like, listen to it. It's barely running. That's how it was running when I first got it. And I just cranked the idle up. He told me he had the idle turned down. I'm thinking there's an issue, and I'm not aware of it. It's about 5 after 4. It smells so good up here. I mean, I guess these are like evergreens, so that's what I'm probably smelling, but like, it's just a wonderful smell, man. If you watch the original camping videos I did, I had a backpack bungee corded to the back of a really shitty luggage rack. So I've got my sleeping bag and this Wolfman medium-sized waterproof duffel that's just attached to this thing with straps. Bungee netted to that, I have my sleeping bag. And then bungee corded to the top, I have my camera bag. And then on the sides here, these Wolfman, I think they're the E12 Enduro saddlebags. Super expensive shit, but it's necessary. If you want to do this comfortably, you need stuff that's going to be secure, it's going to be dust proof, and it's going to be waterproof. This duffel bag has got these cords here that loop through your luggage rack, and then they go through the loops in the bag and they secure it. And you can cinch them down, and it's super, super sturdy. If you roll it correctly, it's waterproof. What's crazy about these like higher elevation wooded areas is that they don't have as much underbrush. If you see the ground here, it's all just dirt covered in pine needles. You don't get like giant waist-high weeds coming up and grass and ferns and poison ivy. It's just clear. So one of the things I've recently decided to do is try to minimize the setup time for my gear. And the first thing I did to kind of facilitate that was to just take this stuff out of the bag. Like, you know, tents and stakes have bags? You don't need those. The hardest part of putting this stuff away is trying to get it small enough to fit in its bag. I got these rubber ties. It's like a twist tie, but it's coated in rubber. You just tie stuff up with them. They're like $15 at like REI or something. You get different colors if you want. They're the best. I got 2 different sizes. One of them I've got holding my poles and stakes together. Pretty simple. You just tie it together and you throw it in your Wolfman bag. There you have it. Anyway, one of the other things that I want to do with this tent is leave things attached to it. I'm thinking of finding a way to just tie my stakes on it and probably just leave the rain fly on it as well, so that the thing could just be rolled out, staked in, and then all you got to do is worry about these poles. In retrospect, I feel like I should have bought a one-man tent. It would fit in my gear way better. It would weigh less. You know, something that's like almost like a bivvy, like a tent bivvy. Snug Pack Ionosphere is the closest thing to what I'm looking for. Just be super easy to set up. And then if you need to, you could roll it up and just, you know, in a heartbeat. So you can put it away quick too. I don't know, just something like that would be easier to just leave a rain fly on. But I needed something my partner could join me for, so I got this 2-man. So this thing is a Marmot Tungsten 2-person tent made by Marmot. It weighs almost nothing. I think the whole tent is like 10 pounds. These poles are super high quality. But I love it. It's a pretty good tent. The rain fly actually buckles on. Like, you see these little buckles? It snaps on. Additionally, it has these little red tags, and you can match them up on the tent, and that way you know which way your rain fly should be facing. Because I think we've all had... We've all had issues with that before. It still isn't foolproof. I had that one backwards. What did I just do? Ugh, good idea, Marmot. Now that everything's put together, you can literally just lift this thing and position it however you want. It's super easy to move around because it weighs like nothing. What else do I have in here? Cooking supplies and drinking supplies, flashlights, and some cold weather clothing. And that's it. I'm a firm believer that you should bring multiple flashlights with you always, because one of them will always die on you. Nothing too crazy. You don't have to have fancy pants flashlights, but just have more than one. So for layered clothing, I've got 2 of these Cabela's brand base layers. This stuff is for like super cold weather. I got a pants and a shirt. Then I got this nice flannel just to keep a little more heat in over the base layer. The thing about flannel though is if that gets wet, you're gonna freeze. This stuff here is really good at keeping you warm even if it's wet. I mean, if it's soaked, it probably won't. But so then for my neck, I have this fleece thing, and I've got this Carhartt hat. And just in case it's cold tomorrow morning, I got some cold weather gloves. Well, we got everything taken care of. So I think it's time to get the goodies out. Got a little bottle of Black Label. Well, the time is now about 5:35. The sun's kind of going down. I don't know when it'll actually set, but it'll certainly be dark in these woods before the sun actually sets. First, I'm gonna eat while I still have the light to do it. Let's get rid of these boots, huh? This is my bag of fire starting materials. In here I keep my stove, my gas. I keep these wet fire starters, some lighters and some matches. Oh, the can is so small it almost doesn't fit on the rack. But you didn't think you'd be watching somebody make beans today. How big is this bottle? This is tiny. 200 milliliter. That's a tiny bottle. Cheers. Something about drinking hard liquor in the woods that somehow makes it seem smoother. Johnny Walker has always had like a kind of a smoky taste to me. It's actually never been my favorite. I prefer bourbon like Maker's Mark or Irish whiskeys like Jameson, Tullamore Dew. That stuff is absolutely my favorite. But Johnny Walker to me has a flavor that the others don't. So canned foods like this are my preferred canned food because they're non-perishable, they're easy to contain and throw in your bag. They're usually very cheap and they're usually very filling. And if you're going to be camping in cold weather like I always do, you definitely want to have a lot of fat and calories in your body because your body needs something to metabolize if you're going to stay warm. You are your main heat source.
Invisible, beating on far past physical with you. I mean it both. See in my heart it bends for you. I adore you. I dream I know